Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Imagine Britain in 1989. It was an era of transformation. Margaret Thatcher's Britain, a time of modernization and shifting social landscapes. Yet amidst these changes, one constant remained: the unmistakable presence of Queen Elizabeth II. Her portrait graced coins, stamps, and banknotes, a timeless symbol of continuity and pride. That year, the Royal Mint continued producing the humble one-penny coin, a denomination that had already become a staple of daily life since the decimalization in 1971. But the 1989 issue carried subtle nuances, details that collectors today study with fascination. To understand the importance of the 1989 penny, we must look back to its roots. Before 1971, Britain used the old pre-decimal system, a system of shillings, florins, and pence that had existed for centuries. When decimalization arrived, everything changed. The new penny, worth 1/100th of a pound, became the foundation of the new currency system. The design chosen for this new coin featured the crown portcullis with chains, a heraldic symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster, representing both the seat of government and the strength of the British monarchy. By 1989, this design was deeply embedded in British life. People hardly noticed the pennies they used every day. But numismatists did. They noticed every variation, the metal composition, the subtle changes in die strikes, and even differences in the portrait of the Queen. Because on the obverse of the 1989 penny was a portrait that had already become legendary, the third definitive effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. Makhlouf's portrait, introduced in 1985, was both regal and human. It depicted the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, the elegant crown she wore during state openings of Parliament. Her hair was carefully detailed, her profile serene yet commanding. Makhlouf himself once said that he wanted the portrait to capture the dignity and grace of Her Majesty, while ensuring it looked timeless on metal. The result was an image that radiated both majesty and warmth, a perfect emblem of late 20th century Britain. The reverse design, the crown portcullis, was the work of Christopher Ironside, another great British coin designer. His vision was to link the coinage of modern Britain with its ancient traditions of governance and royal heritage. The portcullis design, with its clean lines and intricate chains, symbolized strength, unity, and the steadfast nature of the United Kingdom itself. In 1989, the one-penny coin was struck in bronze, a mixture of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. It had a diameter of 20.32 mm and weighed 3.56 grams. These specifications had remained consistent since decimalization, yet the artistry of the dies and the precision of the strikes could vary slightly year by year, creating subtle differences that collectors now prize. The coins were struck at the Royal Mint's facility in Llantrisant, South Wales, a site known for its blend of cutting-edge technology and centuries-old tradition. For most Britons in 1989, the penny was almost invisible, used for small purchases, change, or saved in jars at home. But as decades passed, something remarkable happened. Collectors began to realize that not all 1989 pennies were created equal. Tiny variations in the metal finish, minting quality, or alignment began to attract attention. Some coins struck with early dies exhibited exceptional detail and shine, while others showed fascinating minting errors, double strikes, off-center imprints, or even missing details on the portcullis chains. It is these rare imperfections that often turn an everyday coin into a hidden treasure. Among all known 1989 one-penny coins, a few rare specimens have been identified that appear to be trial or proof strikes, coins that may never have been intended for circulation. These rare examples, possibly struck for testing dies or presentation sets, are now regarded as numismatic jewels. Their surfaces are mirror-like, their details sharp, and their authenticity unmatched. Collectors who own such examples guard them fiercely. Over time, these coins found their way into private collections, auction houses, and, in a few cases, museums. The intrigue surrounding them only grew when one such coin, discovered accidentally in a small estate collection in the early 2000s, fetched an eye-watering sum at auction, setting off a wave of renewed interest in late 20th century British coinage. But it isn't just rarity that makes the 1989 penny so special, it's the story it tells. Each coin carries the legacy of a nation and a monarch. In 1989, Queen Elizabeth II was in her 63rd year of life and the 37th year of her reign. She had witnessed Britain's transition from post-war recovery to modern global influence. Her image on this coin symbolized stability through change, continuity through challenge. The penny was a reflection of that enduring spirit, a small coin with immense symbolic power. There's also something poetic about the penny's place in British culture. The phrase, "a penny for your thoughts," has echoed through centuries, capturing the nation's affection for this tiny denomination. And in 1989, that same humble coin carried a monarch's portrait and a nation's identity. The fact that one could buy nothing of value with it then, yet see it later valued at millions, adds a fascinating irony to its story. As collectors began to recognize the historical and emotional depth of these coins, demand soared. Auction houses like Spink and Heritage Auctions reported record bids for well-preserved examples. Coins graded, proof, or uncirculated by organizations like NGC or PCGS began commanding incredible prices, sometimes reaching into the tens of thousands. But then, the unimaginable happened. A particular 1989 Elizabeth II 1 penny surfaced. Unlike any other, this specific coin had been kept in pristine condition since minting. Its details were flawless, the luster perfect, and it bore an ultra-rare die alignment error that made it one of a kind. It had never been circulated, never handled, and had passed quietly through generations before its rediscovery. When it went up for auction, collectors around the world tuned in, curious to see what price this seemingly ordinary coin could fetch. The bidding started modestly, tens of thousands, then hundreds. But as minutes passed, the excitement grew. Two private collectors, both determined to claim this numismatic masterpiece, pushed the price into the millions. Finally, the hammer fell at an astonishing $42 million, a record-breaking sum that stunned the coin world and made global headlines. That sale transformed the 1989 Elizabeth II 1 penny from a forgotten relic of everyday commerce into a legendary artifact. Suddenly, collectors everywhere began combing through their coin jars, hoping to find another hidden treasure. The coin became a symbol of possibility, a reminder that even the smallest, most common objects can hold unimaginable worth if preserved with care and discovered with knowledge. Top 2. We're going to explore the untold story of the 2005 1 penny, a coin that has risen from pocket change to become a collector's dream, with one exceptional piece valued at an astounding $21 million. Let's journey back to 2005, a significant year in the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Britain was in an age of transformation, economically, culturally, and technologically. The Royal Mint, ever a symbol of tradition and precision, continued to uphold its legacy of creating coins that not only served as currency but also as national emblems of pride. The 2005 1 penny wasn't just another piece of metal. It was a token of the Queen's enduring presence and a representation of the United Kingdom's identity at the turn of the 21st century. The 1 penny coin, introduced in 1971 as part of Britain's decimalization, was already a staple in the pockets of millions. Yet, each New Year's mintage carried subtle differences, minute details, and production nuances that fascinated numismatists. The 2005 version was minted in huge numbers for everyday circulation, and yet, among those millions, a few exceptional examples were struck with such rare precision, unique die characteristics, or minting errors that they would later become legends in the coin collecting world. At the center of the coin's obverse stands the timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, introduced in 1998, was admired for its realistic depiction of the Queen. Unlike earlier portraits that idealized her youthful grace, Broadley's design embraced her maturity, portraying her with dignity, poise, and regal authority. The subtle contours of her face, the intricate curls of her hair beneath the royal crown, and the finely detailed lettering around the rim spoke volumes about the mint's dedication to excellence. The inscription read, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2005. Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you're greeted by the iconic crown portcullis, a design deeply rooted in British history. Originally symbolizing the Palace of Westminster, the portcullis design has long stood for parliamentary strength, royal protection, and the unyielding spirit of the British nation. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this reverse design had graced the penny since 1971. The portcullis features vertical and horizontal bars interlocked in perfect harmony, topped by a majestic crown, a powerful symbol linking the monarchy with governance, unity, and the people's will. Below the design sits the simple denomination, 1 penny. Though the coin's design might seem consistent year after year, the 2005 edition carries an aura of mystique. Numismatists have long whispered about specific variants, pieces that bear slight anomalies in die alignment, metal composition, or striking quality. Some of these coins were struck with higher pressure, giving them a sharp, proof-like appearance despite being intended for circulation. Others were struck on experimental planchets, possibly made of bronze rather than the newer copper-plated steel introduced in the late 1990s. These variations, nearly invisible to the naked eye, are what separate a regular penny from a numismatic masterpiece. The Royal Mint in 2005 maintained a tradition of precision that few institutions in the world could match. Each blank disc, or planchet, was carefully inspected, cleaned, and prepared before being pressed under immense force between engraved dies. The accuracy of the die alignment, the clarity of the strike, and the consistency of the metal plating were crucial to the coin's final quality. But in a massive minting operation where millions of coins are struck, even the tiniest deviation, a shifted die, a filled letter, or a misaligned rim, can create something truly rare. These so-called mint errors are today among the most sought-after varieties of the 2005 1 penny. One particularly famous example of the 2005 1 penny features a double-struck image, where the coin was struck twice in the press, creating a subtle shadow effect around the Queen's profile and the lettering. Another known rarity is the off-center strike, where part of the design spills off the edge of the coin, leaving an incomplete yet visually fascinating piece. Such coins, once dismissed as flaws, have become treasures in the eyes of collectors who understand their rarity and uniqueness. To appreciate the coin's true allure, we must consider its context in the larger timeline of the penny's evolution. By 2005, the British penny had already undergone significant material changes. Originally struck in bronze, it had transitioned to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising metal costs. However, some test strikes and special issues were still occasionally made using the older bronze alloy, creating rare variants that collectors now prize above all others. The combination of the rank broadleaf portrait and an unexpected bronze composition makes such a coin a 1 in a million find. Collectors around the world recognize that the beauty of a coin lies not only in its design, but also in its story. The 2005 1 penny represents a bridge between two eras, the traditional craftsmanship of the old Royal Mint and the modern industrial precision of the new age. Its design connects centuries of British symbolism, while its minting technology reflects the progress of a nation steeped in history yet always moving forward. It's no wonder that the coin has become a prized collectible, especially in high-grade condition. Mint State (MS) examples with flawless surfaces and brilliant luster can fetch thousands of dollars. Proof specimens, with their mirror-like finishes and frosted designs, are even rarer. But beyond these, there exists a small number of unique specimens, error coins, test strikes, and uncirculated proofs that have achieved legendary status in auctions. One such coin, a 2005 1 penny struck on a bronze planchet and preserved in perfect condition, was discovered in a private collection in 2019. The coin displayed extraordinary sharpness and a slightly warmer tone compared to standard issues, a telltale sign of its unique metal content. It was verified by top grading agencies and presented at an international numismatic auction. The bidding was fierce, with collectors from the UK, the US, and Asia competing for ownership. When the hammer finally fell, the coin sold for a jaw-dropping $21 million, setting a new record for the most expensive modern British penny ever sold. Top 3, the year 2007 is one of them. At first glance, a 2007 penny may appear like any other. You might find one in an old drawer, mixed with forgotten change, or resting quietly at the bottom of a coin jar. But in truth, some of these coins hold a story so rare and captivating that even experts call them the ghosts of modern British currency. To understand what makes the 2007 one penny so fascinating, we must travel back in time. The design traces its roots to 1971, the year when Britain officially said goodbye to the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. Decimalization marked a new chapter in the nation's currency history. The one penny coin, reintroduced that year, was made from bronze, weighing 3.56 grams, and featuring a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the nation's longest reigning monarch and a timeless symbol of stability. Over the decades, her image would appear on billions of coins, each slightly different as the effigy evolved with her age. The 2007 version of the one penny carries the fourth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This design, introduced in 1998, was bolder and more realistic than earlier portraits. It captured the Queen as a dignified, mature leader, her crown, the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, sitting elegantly atop her head. Unlike earlier effigies that softened her features, Rank Broadley's design emphasized character and realism, reflecting a new age of openness in British coin design. Surrounding her portrait were the words Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2007, which stand for Elizabeth II Dei Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Turn the coin over, and you'll find the reverse design, a striking depiction of the portcullis with chains, surmounted by a crown. This image is steeped in centuries of symbolism. The portcullis, originally a feature of the Palace of Westminster, represents the British Parliament and the nation's enduring strength and unity. It's also the badge of the Palace of Westminster, linking the design to the heart of British democracy. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this motif had been in use since decimalization began in 1971, serving as a proud icon of the British penny for decades. But in 2007, something interesting was happening behind the scenes at the Royal Mint. Plans were underway to change the entire design of the reverse sides of all circulating coins. The following year, in 2008, the Royal Mint introduced a brand new series, featuring a unified shield design that, when all the coins were placed together, formed the Royal Shield of Arms. This meant that 2007 was the last full year the old portcullis design appeared on the standard circulating one penny. That alone makes 2007 a significant transitional year, the end of an era for one of Britain's most familiar coin designs. But that's only part of the story. What makes certain 2007 one penny coins so valuable isn't just historical timing, it's rarity. Although millions were minted for circulation, a very small number were struck under unusual conditions, making them incredibly scarce. Some were proof versions, minted with mirror-like finishes and crisp details for collectors. These proof coins were never meant for general use and were produced at the Royal Mint in limited numbers, often packaged in special sets. However, due to minting errors, a few of these proof coins found their way into circulation, and that's where things become truly intriguing. There are also reports of error pennies from 2007, coins struck on planchets meant for different denominations or with incorrect dies. In the world of numismatics, minting errors are like accidental art. They're rare, unpredictable, and incredibly sought after by collectors. A 2007 penny showing an off-center strike, double die obverse, or even the wrong metal composition could easily fetch thousands or even millions of dollars at auction. Each mistake tells a story of imperfection within precision, a glimpse into the hidden mysteries of the minting process. Collectors often say that the 2007 penny is one of those coins that hides in plain sight. Many people have likely spent one without ever realizing its worth. The difference between an ordinary penny and a fortune can lie in the tiniest detail: a misplaced mint mark, an incorrect alignment, or a subtle difference in the metallic shine. Coin enthusiasts spend countless hours studying these small signs, magnifying every ridge and letter in search of something extraordinary. Now, let's talk about the composition. In 2007, the 1 penny was no longer made of pure bronze as in the early years of decimalization. Due to rising metal costs, the Royal Mint switched to copper-plated steel in 1992, a change that continued through 2007. This gave the coins a similar look but a lighter feel and different magnetic properties. They stick to a magnet, unlike the older bronze versions. So, when collectors discover a non-magnetic 2007 1 penny, it instantly raises eyebrows. Could it be a leftover bronze blank from earlier years mistakenly used in 2007? If so, that coin would be one of the rarest modern British pennies ever struck. As time passed, more people began to realize the significance of the 2007 penny. Coin forums buzzed with discussions about its unique traits. Collectors posted pictures, comparing fonts, rim thicknesses, and die marks, trying to pinpoint which variations were genuine rarities. Some versions showed slight differences in the portrait's detailing or variations in the crown's relief, suggesting minor die adjustments during production. Each subtle feature became a clue in an ongoing treasure hunt, one that turned ordinary pocket change into a potential goldmine. The Royal Mint itself has acknowledged that the number of proof coins and certain error strikes from 2007 is exceptionally limited, making them highly desirable. Proof sets containing 2007 1 pennies have already skyrocketed in value due to their historical importance, marking the end of the Ironside reverse era and the dawn of the new Royal Shield design that would appear from 2008 onward. But the fascination doesn't stop there. For collectors, the emotional connection to this coin runs deep. The 2007 1 penny represents not just currency, but memory, a time capsule of Queen Elizabeth II's later reign, just 15 years before her passing in 2022. Holding one feels like touching a moment in history, a tangible link to an era of stability, change, and quiet strength. Some collectors around the world have paid astonishing prices to acquire the rarest variants. At prestigious auctions, certain proof and error examples have fetched staggering amounts. A flawless, mirror-finished 2007 proof penny in pristine condition, verified by experts, once sold for a small fortune. And when rumors began to circulate about an ultra-rare minting anomaly from that year, possibly a penny struck with mismatched metal or die, interest exploded. Coin enthusiasts from the UK, the US, and even Asia began searching for their own 2007 treasures. In the numismatic market, demand is driven not only by rarity but by story. The 2007 penny carries both. It tells the story of a final design, a hidden error, and a quiet farewell to an era that shaped British coinage for nearly 4 decades. It bridges the classic Ironside design of the 20th century with the modern shield motif of the 21st. It embodies transition, from the old to the new, from bronze to steel, from tradition to modernity. So, next time you glance at a 2007 penny, take a closer look. Feel its weight, examine its details, and imagine the journey it might have taken, from the Royal Mint's presses to your own hand. Maybe, just maybe, you're holding a piece of British history worth a fortune.